Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel, and today I'm pleased to present a review entitled Biomarkers in Parkinson Disease, a State of the Art, published in 2023 in the journal Biomarkers in Neuropsychiatric by Yamashita and College. This review brings together an analysis the main biomarkers in Parkinson disease. The objective of this analysis is to understand how biomarkers can help you improve the diagnostic, monitoring, and the development of the new therapies for this common and complex neurodegenerative disease. Let's go. The Parkinson disease affects more 1 million in the United States alone. Primarily older adults. It is characterized by classic motor symptoms such as resting tremor, rigidity, and bradykinesia, but also by non-motor symptoms such as cognitive impairment, sleep disturbance, and mood change. The current diagnostic is based on clinical criteria and can only be definitively confirmed by post-mortem examination. Um, this mean this mean in life there is a significant margin of error, especially in the early stage, where it can be confused with other disorders such as dementia with Lewy body or multiple system atrophy. Um, why look for biomarkers? Um, Therefore, biomarkers represent a promising tool for one, providing more objective and early diagnostic. The second is monitoring disease progression. The three is differentiate it from other similar pathologies. And the fourth is identify patients who are candidates for future therapies. The classification of biomarkers is in four. The first is cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, obtained by lumbar puncture. The second is biomarkers in blood or serum. The three is genetic biomarkers, which are studied in DNA. And the four is biomarkers using imaging techniques such as MRI and PAT. Let's now look at each of these groups in more details. The first is biomarkers in CSF. Um, the CSF reflects the brain's biochemical environment, and may contain early signs of neuronal damage. It is the most studied in Parkinson disease. Um, the protein is alpha synuclein. In Parkinson, it is abnormal. It, it is abnormally deposited in Lewy bodies. However, in cerebrospinal fluid, its level tend to be lower in Parkinson's patients than in healthy control. This is explained by the fact that the protein accumulates in the brain tissues rather and that circulating and freely. Recent techniques called the scene amplification as assays que is SAA, detects misfolded form of alpha synuclein with high sensitivity, up to 95 or 98. These represent a very important advance. Uh, and the biomarkers in CSV or the others biomarkers, including GFAP, is glial fibrillary acid protein. It is released after astrocyte damage, although it is elevated in various neurodegenerative disease. It could be used as marker in progression. These photographers represent GFAP in the brain. The amyloid, the amyloid beta or beta amyloid and tau, better now as marker of Alzheimer's disease. They are also valued in Parkinson disease, especially in patients with cognitive impairment. Low levels of beta amyloid and elevated levels of tau may may predict a higher risk of the multiples um, the multiples dementias. This photography represent amyloid beta plaques, neurofibrillary tangles or tau. The tree is GKL14. 14. Um, this is a marker of degradation produced by astrocytes. It has been more closely linked to DLB and Alzheimer as disease, but it is still inconsistent in Parkinson disease. These photographies, um, sorry, mm, okay. This photography represent a GKL, an inflammatory marker with potential utility in patients with mixed pathologies, Parkinson disease, and Alzheimer. The other biomarkers is in blood. Um, this is represent mm, idea as they allow for less invasive testing. Some notable examples include alpha-synuclein and NfL, GFAP, and microRNAs. The alpha-synuclein blood, it has been found in serum erythrocyte and extracellular vesicle. However, results vary widely between studies. Uh, New research is focusing on specific forms such as phosphorodilator on oligoelement form. The the neurofilament light chain or NFL is an indicator of axonal damage elevate in a typical and progressive form of PD. It can predict the onset of symptoms years before clinical diagnostic. The plasma GFAP recent study found that elevated levels could predict the conversion to dementia in patients with mild cognitive impairment and the inflammatory markers. Um, and the four micro RNS emerging markers with great poten- potentials but still lacking standardization. These photographs are represented by the different types of the biomarkers in blood. In Alzheimer's disease related by amyloid pathologies, neuroinflammation, Alzheimer's disease relatation with tau pathology, and neuro or synaptic degeneration. And this is biomarkers. This search in a blood without to 205 um, TRIM2, GFAP, um, and others. Inflammatory biomarkers and microRNAs. This is technique in several studies have identified characteristics inflammatory profiles in patients with um, PD. The biomarkers is cytokinina such as EL6, TN alpha, and CRP are elevated, although there is a specific in limited regulatory micro RNA. Some specific sequence have demonstrated a high ability to distinguish patients with PD from healthy control for future clinical validation is required. These these photographs represent controls represented by greens. Um, the black is biomarkers in the brain, and the red represents inflammatory biomarkers in different parts of the brain. The imaging biomarkers, uh, imaging techniques have made significant progress in a recent year as complementary diagnostic tools. Um, the first is a structural MRA. It can show atrophy in a structure such as the substantia nigra, basal ganglia, and frontal cortex, especially in patients with Parkinson disease and cognitive impairment. Um, the neuromelan sensitive. It is detect loss of dopamine neuron signal intensity correlates with neuronal dimension. The tree is the AT aspect. It is evaluate dopamine transport uptake. It is FDA or FDA approved as a diagnostic aid and has an accuracy rate close to uh, 90, 90%. F dopa PAT or if dopa PET. It is allows for highly sensitive measure of dopamine metabolism. It has been used in the blood diagnostic and monitoring, although access it is limited. This photograph represent different parts: the brain, frontal, central, and and laterals. This photograph represent by um, by PD. Parkinson disease in different people. This is advanced and um, just a second. um and early. Conclusion. The biomarkers have evolved from experimental hypotheses to tools with true clinical potential. We still do not have a single marker that works for all patients, but the combination of CSV, blood, genetics, and imaging generating promising diagnostic model. Um, Future more disease markers could be used to select patients for clinical trials, monitor response to treatments, and accelerate the development of disease-modified therapies. Thank you for watch. Um, good good day, afternoon, or night. I see you.